Welcome back to 12 News at 4. This year, a study by CNBC and SurveyMonkey found that 53% of the Americans surveyed feel they're behind on retirement planning and savings. According to the U.S. Federal Reserve's survey of consumer finances, roughly half of households have a retirement account, and their median balance is about $87,000. Meanwhile, most Americans think they need a record $1.46 million to retire comfortably, and many households have financial priorities that compete with retirement savings. And with high inflation rates and credit card debt reaching all-time highs, what can Americans do to work toward a comfortable retirement? Let's ask the expert on this Money Saving Monday. Financial and consumer expert Angelica Prescod joins us to break down the biggest threats to that comfortable retirement. So what should we be considering off the top?
Inflation. It doesn't sleep while we're retired. And even if it's just merely there, it can truly impact how we end up enjoying our retirement in the beginning years versus later. So make sure in your portfolio you have things that can focus on some growth to stay ahead of it.
And maybe some more conservative investments too, so that they kind of grow with you if you're a little bit younger planning retirement right now.
Well, when you're younger, you have more chances to take on more growth.
Okay.
Because you have time for it to kind of do its fluctuation. As you get older, we become much more conservative.
So maybe have a little more aggressive portfolio,
Yes.
I suppose, in the younger years. Okay, and let's talk about the excessive withdrawals if you're trying to kind of compensate and cover costs.
Listen, the funny thing is people forget that when they're retired, every day is practically a Saturday. And they go into, oh, I'm just going to spend $60,000 when I retire. It ends up being $120,000. So if you overdo it on the withdrawals, you could truly hurt yourself in the long run.
Oh my word. Okay, we got to move. We got to move down the list. When we talk about market volatility, obviously we visit the Dow on a regular basis, and sometimes you're only seeing the red or the green, but that is the volatility. Talk about that.
When it's volatile, that's what we expect. But the key thing you want to do is when you're doing those withdrawals and the market is down, it can really hurt your portfolio to be pulling out in a down year. So you want to make sure you have some cash or lower, more conservative income investments to pull from, so you don't have to touch those stocks while they're down.
And we know that sometimes if we're needing to withdraw that money, it is for unexpected costs. So what about building that emergency fund? We say it and it sounds cliche, but
it's so key.
It is.
Because, you know, a car could just break down and you need that help, or a medical expense can come in. That's also another need that we need to look at.
Yeah, we know that the medical expenses can really start to pile up, and you can't put that off. So what about the health savings account, and how does that sometimes play a role?
That does help. Health savings accounts allow for you to kind of buffer on those expenses. Medicare, Medicare Advantage, those are things that you need to look at to make sure that during your retirement, you're not in the lost when it comes to covering for those healthcare needs.
It can seem daunting to maybe take away from the day-to-day needs and necessities and put money away. How much is enough to put away to get started?
Well, try to at least start with 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. I would never say to someone who doesn't have anything together, hey, do 6 months.
Sure.
It could be too overwhelming. So let's start with assessing really how much does it cost to be you per month, and let's start with 1, 2, and 3 months.
Start small, and then selling stocks when they're a little bit cheaper. Is that something that you would recommend?
No, we never want to sell stocks when they're down. We want to make sure that we get a profit on it, because taxes on those stocks are much more beneficial. The issue, though, is we want to make sure that we have something that can grow and stay ahead of inflation.
Okay, and watch out for those fees associated with those withdrawals from maybe the Roth or whatnot. All right, you hear